What is up, everybody? Welcome to Rats on Film, the show where a bunch of film rats talk about and rank movies. It's a bird, it's a pod, it's Superman. Today on the show, we're talking about The Man of Steel. Superman, we're covering a couple of the Superman movies, not all of them. We picked a selection we'll get into, which ones it is in a second. On the show with me today, I have Tristan.
Hello.
Chris.
Hello, let me dine a Twister, please.
And I'm your host, Xander. Welcome to the show, everybody. First DC of the podcast. We've done...
Oh, that's actually crazy.
We've done a couple of Marvel episodes. We're very Marvel heavy and DC light.
I wonder why.
Yeah, the guy that made the podcast is a Marvel guy.
True, but it also, I feel like you're wading into a lot more when you talk about DC. It has a longer history than Marvel does for movies.
Well, I also feel like DC, when we started making the podcast, was in a reset period.
Yeah.
And Marvel's still going. I wouldn't say strong, but it's still going.
It's kicking. It's alive.
It's existing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about DC, I mean, we're going to get into the first movie. It has a very deep history in movies.
Yeah. And there's a lot. I mean, even with Superman,
Yeah.
It became a question of what we were going to cover. So we're just going to cover the main Superman actors in live action, their first film appearance. Obviously, this is in celebration and to talk about the brand new Superman that's just come out. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a little bit. But Tristan, you're a DC guy. Like, you're the biggest DC guy I know.
Oh, wow. What a glowing compliment. Maybe more so now, actually, after...
I love DC also.
Yeah, you feel vindicated?
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you think, Chris, you're also a DC over Marvel guy?
I think definitely growing up, and even my Marvel love is for the movies, but nothing else. My DC love is for the characters, and like I grew up with the animated shows, so like the Batman animated show, the Superman animated show, the Justice League Unlimited.
Just like Chris said, I grew up with all of those animated shows. Also, Spider-Man, the animated series, and X-Men, but definitely more so leaning into DC. I mean, the first movie I ever remember watching, unfortunately, is Batman and Robin as a child.
I have come back to love that
original
movie.
Batman movies from the 90s and 80s, foundation of my nerdism. So
Yeah, I'm not a DC anti. I should make that clear. But I am a Superman anti.
That's crazy though.
He does.
It's like, Tristan,
Guys,
as
you
long
don't
as you've known
understand.
me.
This dude does not like Superman. The fact we're even doing this podcast, when he said we were doing it, I was like, wow, is he okay?
Has he been replaced?
Yeah.
Listen, Batman rules. Cool character. Animated series, Teen Titans, like all the stuff surrounding Batman and the Bat family. I do really like. Never been into Superman. This is not going to be an original take. There's a lot of people who have the same complaints as me. His power set is annoying. There's no stakes. He's just very like blank slatey character, like good guy.
I feel like that's the surface level with him though. Like once
That's my experience with him though.
I know, I think that's a lot of people's, but once you delve into more of the media, you get a rounder look at what people really like about Superman.
All right, let's get into it. Superman, 1978, directed by Richard Donner.
It really is like the defining comic book movie.
Did you guys watch this one growing up?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I feel like for this podcast, the rewatch, so the first time I actually sat down as an adult and rewatched it. So that was nice.
Same.
I watched it as a kid. I watched this one and the second one as a kid. My parents were fans of it.
I think it's a really interesting movie. Some stuff in it that I think is really cartoony, and I would compare it maybe most of stuff that I've seen to like the Adam West Batman, which comes a little bit before this. It feels like it's really kind of evoking that sensibility. But then there's also like some melodrama, and it's interesting that it's one of the jumping off points for comic book movies coming from that place and not feeling like it fully knows what to do.
Yeah. It's definitely not a super accurate portrayal of actually Superman's powers, and it probably kind of ruined the future for it for a bit. But what I find interesting about the movie is it's not really an action movie or a superhero movie. It's kind of a love story in it that just happens to have a superpower person and a crazy Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I wrote down one of my notes is Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. I do quite like her. My note specifically says she's down bad. I think that's the core of this movie.
I mean, look at Christopher Reeves. He's got that Riz.
He does. Truly. He does have it.
This is the first actor we're talking about, but he's perfect, I feel like, as Superman. He has this kind of charm, but he's going to also be serious. He obviously has a look, and you just believe him, really, as Clark Kent and it's Superman.
I really liked when he was Clark, he was physically, you could see him hunched over and trying to play more of a meek, cowering character like Clark is supposed to be. And when he's considering telling Lois his secret, you see him like stand up and like broaden his shoulders and straighten up. And it's like, whoa, he has a physicality to playing Superman that totally. I feel like you don't see a lot with the other Superman actors.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think his physicality is really important. His clumsiness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even when he's clumsy, he's got a charm. Like you said, like he's got the riz. Like he does have something. I mean, there is something really compelling about him. And I think you kind of need that with Superman. I mean, I went on a little diatribe at the beginning about why I don't like the character. And I find him to be boring in a lot of versions. I think he does need to be like a little bit weird, a little bit. Mm-hmm. There needs to be some sort of magnetism to suck you in. And I think it does help that the way that Lois is portrayed in this movie, she's really sucked into his magnetism. And you sort of fall into that. Like, I was like, dude, look at my underwear next, please. What color am I wearing?
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. But I mean, like, I think that is Superman. He is slightly weird. He's an alien who feels alone, doesn't really know who he is. Also raised in a very American situation, but also kind of a closed off, right? He's very goody two shoes Boy Scout, as you would say, but that's because he was raised, by these people in Kansas. So he's a fish out of water. He's an alien. He has powers, and he's also from a small town. So there's so many different layers to why he's kind of strange and endearing, I find, in a way.
Yeah, and to the point about the small town, I think something that's important to talk about with almost all the ones we're covering today is the Pa Kent dynamic. I like the way it's portrayed in this one, where the ultimate message sort of being you can't save everybody, even though you have powers. Mm-hmm. And I do like that moral compass for him in this movie. I think there's a bit at the end that sort of throws it out the window.
Yeah.
The ending is a controversial thing, and I feel like that is probably one of the biggest criticisms I have. It is strange.
It kind of comes out of left field all of a sudden.
My first note about this movie is that it has such a weird pace. Like, it's over an hour until he becomes Superman.
Yeah.
And then he does all his Supermaning in one night. And then Lex Luthor shows up with this crazy plan for real estate.
Comic booky.
Yeah, very comic booky, very like Adam West.
But with a nuke.
Yeah, I like Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. I think it does work. I think he's funny. I don't take him seriously.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not quite what I expect from a Lex Luthor. He doesn't feel smart.
No. And it almost, the first few times you see Lex, it almost feels like a different movie because there's nothing connecting him to the main plot until he's just randomly like, well, now I'm going to kill Superman. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, you're Lex Luthor.
Sure, yeah, 100%, dude.
He forgot, oh shit, I gotta kill Superman.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. The plot is pretty strange. Some of the Krypton stuff is kind of cool. The visually it's interesting. The miniatures are cool. I think Marlon Brando's speech makes no sense, but whatever.
He's weirdly good for a man who's completely phoning it in.
Yeah, he's reading off of Post-its.
He's reading off Post-its, but you gotta hand it to him. He's still somehow a really good actor. I really love the cinematography in this movie. Mm-hmm. It really evokes the kind of, especially in the Kansas Smallville scenes, the Norman Rockwell kind of look. And it just like, I think it really fits with what they're trying to do. And then it has this like glossy look throughout the whole film.
I did love the shots of him running with the train.
Yeah.
I thought that looked really sweet. Yeah, I think the strengths in this are probably the performances, the score, John Williams' score. Obviously,
we have to bring it up because John Williams is great, and the score is obviously amazing. And as we'll talk about later, it never goes away.
They can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't help every time the theme kicked on to like smile and be like, this is Superman. This is really awesome, and it's really cool to see because at the time this movie was like the most expensive movie ever made, and you can really see that they tried to push those boundaries with everything they were putting in this movie.
They were like, let's do an 18-minute optical title.
That title sequence is sick, though.
It is sick. But at one point I was like, is this going to end? I was like, did I skip to the end of the movie?
That seems to be a thing in the 70s where they have this effect, like a special effect somewhere, and they're like, we're going to use this as long as possible.
They figured out how to do it, and they were like, guys,
get our money's worth.
Crack the code.
Guys, we have to do this.
Let's talk about the end bit. He flies backwards around the earth and rewinds time and saves Lois. Dumb. This is one of one of my core beliefs of Superman's dumb.
It's probably the biggest weakness of this film.
Yeah. It, like I said, it just kind of feels like it comes out of left field. Like it's kind of, in a sense, a grounded superhero. Like Superman's using his powers responsibly to save people. And then all of a sudden...
Cats from trees.
Yeah. Literally saving cats from trees. And then at the climax of the movie, he's like, nah, I didn't like that. I'm going to go back in time.
But yeah, the whole message with Pa Kent is you can't save everyone. And then it's like, but I can save Lois though.
Yeah, it's a strange decision.
I quite like Lois in the pit during the earthquake. I think that scene is brutal. I think the performance is really terrifying, and the stakes really ramp up in that. Maybe there's too many shots of the dam overflowing.
Hey, they spent money on that,
but I think the stakes are quite good. But then it's just completely thrown out the window, and you're just like, oh, okay, so this man, nothing can stop him.
Yeah, it's an interesting plot choice to go with.
And this is always, I think, the problem with Superman is how do you ground him? Like, how do you threaten this unthreatenable being? And, you know, they've got kryptonite in this. He puts it on his neck and he pushes him in the water. Weird, strange. I'll drown him, but whatever. You immediately take kind of all that out. It's like, well, as long as he can fly around the world, as long as he's got the riz to get a girl to take the thing off his neck, and as long as he could fly.
And he's got that riz. It's Christopher Reeves.
Right, that's right.
That is one of the nice things that I liked about it, was him appealing in a sense to her humanity, because she's like, oh, my mom lives in California where he's trying to destroy, where Lex Luthor's trying to destroy for his real estate. And you see the earnest in Christopher Reeve and like as Superman, like appealing to her, like, I can help you, but you have to help me first.
I think this is solid. It's a really, I think it's of its time in a lot of ways. But there is...
Yeah, the kid gets smacked after he shoots.
I was just about to say, that was crazy.
Don't tell lies. Guys can't fly. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, I think it is of its time, but the performances really carry it and do a lot of the heavy lifting for it holding up to this day.
I think basically everything but maybe the story. Like even the production really helps. It's just the story. Not even like the script. It's the story, really.
Yeah.
That it decided to tell.
All right, we could start it on the top, though.
I mean, there's nothing else where to put it.
Well, we could start on the bottom. We've done that before.
I'm doing that to a different movie.
Yeah. We've done that
Wait,
twice.
we've done that before?
Twice. X-Men Origins Wolverine and Weekend at Bernie's.
Ooh.
All right, next up on the list, Superman Returns, 2006, directed by a villain.
Starring a villain as well.
Yeah, that's right. Starring a real-life villain as a villain.
I think my first thought about this, Superman is way too stoic in this movie. He's supposed to basically be the same character as Christopher Reeve's Superman, but he like has no charisma. He's not really fun to watch. And it's crazy because I've seen Brandon Routh and other things. He's played Adam in the CW show, and he has that charisma and that fun. But his direction in this is just to be stoic and serious the whole time.
He's very broody. He did not have the same level of riz and charisma in general as Christopher Reeve. It was just kind of, he's just there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's him. I think it's the direction.
Yeah, he's doing his best Christopher Reeve impression in a lot of ways. He's trying to do the meek Clark, and I think, yeah, he maybe just doesn't quite have what Christopher Reeve has. I do think it's also partially a little bit motivated by the story. They put Clark in a pretty weird situation that leads to a lot of scenes of him just like watching Lois secretly, which is really weird and off-putting.
Yeah, but using also his powers to do it, and it's just kind of, his little icky.
But then, like, also, I think some of the stuff that Brandon Routh does is pretty good. Like his reappearance as Superman on the plane thing.
Yeah,
that's probably the best sequence in the movie for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think it works pretty well. And when he lands the plane and comes on and Lois sees him for the first time, there is kind of that moment of like, ooh,
and he's like, do you need help?
Yeah, like I think that he's definitely not one of the weaknesses of the movie.
No.
I don't think he quite has what Christopher Reeve has, but I do think he gives a pretty solid approximation of what Christopher Reeve was doing.
I don't think anything is his problem. I just find it interesting as we're going through these movies, the different interpretations. Yeah. And also from actors I've seen do different things.
Right.
Can we talk about the costume, which I actually like besides the red?
Yeah,
we've talked about
desaturated.
This. The red is too dark.
That was my complaint as well with the costume. Yeah. It's like the blue is nice. And then the red is just like, just brighten it up a little bit. Give it a little more.
It's like pop. Brown.
Yeah, it's almost
the little pop, dude. That's exactly right. Superman's got a pop.
Yeah, he's got a pop. But like it evokes the Reeves one where it's like this tight kind of suit And like it really is almost perfect, like a new modern version. And then the red is just, it looks like poop. But besides that, I like the costume.
Yeah.
I just wish the color was a little different.
Yeah, there were a few scenes where there was like some more light on the red and it looked a little brighter, and I was like, that's what we should have done. How did we not see that in post? And we're like,
for
hey,
sure.
we should have done that.
This is another interesting movie where it's not really an action movie that you would expect from a superhero. It's more of a melodrama. But like, I don't mind that as a Superman story.
I think similarly to the first one, the plot is dumb.
It has it's trying to do too much. I think that's the biggest problem.
It's kind of like Lex Luthor and Superman's plots don't intersect until really late in the movie. The Superman story is focused on he's been gone for 5 years. He went back to see what was up with Krypton. He left everyone behind. The world has moved on. Lois Lane has moved on, and he's coming back. And then in that meantime, Lex Luthor got out of prison because Superman didn't show up to court.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works.
And then fucked an old lady.
Yeah. Then he stole an old lady's yacht. It's such a weird plot. And it's kind of funny to me that they went back on like he likes real estate though. Like he really wants land.
He's creating land this time instead of stealing it.
Well, you know,
the worst land I've ever seen.
Dude, Tristan, supply and demand, man.
You go to the island and they're just playing cards on the worst fucking island in the world.
Who would want to live there?
They're not even trying to build anything. They're just
inclement weather there. It's terrible weather.
Lex Luthor's supposed to be the smartest man in the world, and he's so dumb.
Yeah, I feel like in that 5-year gap, you know, Lex gets off on a technicality about Superman not being in court. He should have like built LexCorp in that time.
Yeah,
Superman was away, and then he finds Fortress of Solitude. We're gonna create these weapons. I think that is a much more interesting plot than almost like we talked about rehashing in a sense Lex's story from the 78 film. Dude loves real estate though,
and I think to compare the plane scene, which I also thought was the best scene in the film, to the climax with just lifting the island out of the ground. I feel like this again goes into my classic criticism of Superman of just the man can't be stopped.
He does get stopped in
the thing that's supposed to stop him is kryptonite, and he's lifting a kryptonite island. It's just like, okay, I guess so.
But he went far down underneath.
But there's literally spikes coming out like right next to him. It's crazy.
And then he almost dies.
Also, nobody thought, wait a second, Superman's been gone for 5 years. Clark's also been gone for 5 years.
No one likes Clark.
Clark showed back up for work today, and now Superman showed up? What?
People are like...
That actually brings up an interesting point, and I feel like in a lot of modern superhero movies, the love interest finds out really quickly that the superhero is whoever, you know, their secret identity. In these first 2 movies we're talking about, Lois has no idea that Clark is Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't touch on this in the first one, actually. I meant to. The Lois and Superman flying scene is obviously very iconic, and they've tried to recreate it here. I think it's decent. I don't think it's as good as the first one. Maybe the physics in it are better.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really nice moments in it, but it doesn't recapture the greatness that it was, and also it sometimes looks very plasticky, which Superman, for some reason, this movie looks plasticky a lot.
I mean, this movie's in the bad time
where they thought they could do it.
They thought CGI was good, and it really wasn't. And then they just abandoned doing anything practical. There's a lot of shots of completely fake Brandon Routh.
Which is it's just crazy, because I've watched the behind the scenes of this, because this is one of the DVDs I had for a long time. And they did a lot of practical, and they must have been like, nah, let's do CGI.
Yeah, now I'm surprised you didn't call me up for this, Tristan, but I rewatched this for this. I had no idea I had seen it. And then Johnny, I was texting you and Johnny about it, and I went, yeah, this is the first time I watched it. And Johnny's like, we saw this in theaters, dude. And I was like, I guess.
And that leads to I think a point for me for this is this movie is over 2 hours long. It feels like nothing significant happens. It doesn't like stick with you outside of the plane sequence. There's not a lot. Like we talked about the 78 movie, and it's like that the ending, you know, while crazy and weird, you know, it sticks with you. Like nothing about Superman Returns really is like, that sticks with me as like something to, you know, move forward with Superman.
Yeah, I think that is fair. I think it is a little bit
forgettable.
Yeah, forgettable.
Yeah. Sorry, because I don't hate it.
No.
It is difficult. The melodrama's not good enough, and then the other sequences are not good enough. I mean, he gets shot in the eye, which actually looks really good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Why does that guy have a minigun on the roof? I don't know.
Now, are his eyeballs made of steel also? Like, I didn't know that.
None of it's made of steel.
What?
He's not.
I'm not up to date on my Superman knowledge, guys.
God, you just watched the
I'm
new
a
one.
Spider-Man guy. All right, where do you guys want to rank this compared to the first one?
I personally would put this under the 78 Superman, the original.
Same. I would put it under 78.
Yeah, same. Easy decision.
It's easy. Yeah.
It's not a bad movie, but it's not it doesn't quite have it.
Yeah, it doesn't have.
It doesn't have what Christopher Reeve is bringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one last thing.
You know what,
there were way too many shots of Lois's feet in that movie. I counted at least 3, and I was like, that's probably 3 too many.
Did Tarantino direct this? I don't know how many feet shots are in this next one. Next up, Man of Steel, 2013, directed by Zack Snyder.
I think this one is definitely a victim of Christopher Nolan's Batman. The muted colors, the more stoic, serious Clark, and just everything about it seems so un-Superman-like. It's like hopeless in a sense, like lacking one of the core characteristics of Superman is like being someone that inspires others.
This one is so interesting because a lot of people really love it. A lot of people really hate it. It's probably the most divisive one, to be honest with you. And I think some of the stuff that it's trying to do is vaguely interesting. I don't really think it nails the way that it goes about any of it. I fully agree with you, Tristan, that Superman is supposed to be about hope and good and all that sort of stuff. And this movie talks about that in a lot of ways, but then it doesn't feel like it quite nails
what it's trying to say.
Well, yeah.
It never pays it off.
We're gonna talk about Pa Kent again. This has a really good Pa Kent scene, I think, and then the worst Pa Kent scene.
Yeah.
The really good one being after he saves the kids on the bus and he kind of goes out and I don't love this take necessarily.
It's not a great take. It's interesting
that he kind of views him as like this coming of God, and people are going to be afraid of you, so you need to hide yourself away until the time.
It's interesting because it mirrors Jor-El. But
what I think is good in the scene is the moment when Superman says like, "Well, I don't want to be that. Like, can I just be Clark? Can I just be your son?" And he says back to him, "You are my son." I think that's a really powerful moment. Juxtaposed with the holding my hand up in a tornado.
The worst. I don't understand why they thought this. They could have done it even a little bit differently and it would have been fine. It's so frustrating.
I just don't know what they're going for here, right? Because in the Christopher Reeve one, the intention is supposed to be, at least in my interpretation of it, is supposed to be, even though you're as super as you are, you can't save everybody.
I think that's still the intention of the scene.
But he can totally save him.
He could have easily saved him. He could have saved him like 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. Why doesn't he go get the dog? Exactly.
He's like, go help your mom. You can do that, Pa Kent.
It's
I'm
crazy.
literally indestructible, Dad.
Yeah, it's a crazy scene.
Well, anyone's not going to believe you anyway. There's a twister coming down. You're going to think all these people are crazy.
Yeah,
who cares?
He's already committed these acts to save people that people have seen. Right. It's like, would it actually be that big of a deal?
Yeah, like
it's a crazy scene. And I think that kind of runs through the whole movie. You know, the whole opening with Krypton. It's too long.
It's too long. It's cool looking. It's too long.
But there is some interesting stuff. I do think Michael Shannon's Zod is really good.
Michael Shannon's great though.
I think he's really good in the movie. He's that villain where you start listening, like he gets you like, okay, I'm listening. Oh, you're a racist. Never mind. Yeah. Oh, you want everyone to be like you. Okay, never mind.
You had me in the first half. And then
when you're talking about like this corrupt government has doomed our planet.
Like, okay, and then you're like, oh.
I'm like, that seems relatable.
And he's like, we're gonna wipe the bloodlines, and you're like, never mind.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, that's why you're the villain.
All right, let me go off the Krypton thing. The thing I hate the most about this movie.
Go ahead.
Making Superman special by not just dealing with the fact that he was raised correctly. As in, they make it so he has this codex of all Kryptonians in him. He's also the first real birth on Krypton in a millennia. They don't need to be adding all this stuff to make him more special than he is. But they're making him the chosen one. This thing that I hate in this era of filmmaking. No one can be special for who they are. They have to have this extra layer of things added to it.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit fine with the codex so that Zod has more of a reason to destroy Earth. But make it like an actual like item and not inside of Superman.
It's a very weird twist on what Krypton is like traditionally depicted as, is just kind of like, oh yeah, this is just like a spacefaring people, and they're all like, yes, we create people artificially and they have designations from birth.
Yeah, they want real Brave New World with it.
It's just like for no real reason other than makes Superman more interesting, and Maybe they couldn't find out a reason why Zod would want to destroy Earth, but there's so many other reasons.
Well, but this is my thing. I think that Zod's motivation being, oh, hey, this planet's actually pretty sweet. Yeah. We're really powerful here, and Krypton's gone. This seems like a great place to make new Krypton.
Yeah.
I don't think you need any more motivation.
No, I don't think you did either.
No.
As far as Superman conflicts go, we're kind of like clowning the other ones, being like, it's this guy who wants real estate, and that's the guy who can't be killed has to stop a guy who wants land. This actually feels a little bit more like proper Superman stakes.
The first flight scene is really good, and I love the John Williams score. Hans Zimmer's score is all right, but I think that's where it really shines, is that one scene.
That felt like the most Superman moment of the whole movie for me. You can see that the direction for Henry Cavill is like, you can be like excited and have joy because you're being Superman.
I would also say, we said that the other ones weren't really action movies. I mean, different time, different types of films. This one's definitely an action movie.
There's definitely some criticism of that part.
Yeah, I don't think the action in it is great, but again, I kind of like what it's going for. I mean, these are supposed to be
it's real hard hitting.
Yeah, they're supposed to be super beings. They're supposed to feel like they're on a completely other level. And they fuck some shit up. That IHOP gets got,
And then, you get to the problem of Superman not representing hope. He basically levels a city and doesn't care about anyone until the very end, which I don't think that's what they were planning or meaning to portray in that scene. I think Zack Snyder just really wanted to show something that we haven't seen in Superman yet, or like an actual Superman fight, without really thinking about the fact that it seems odd that he's just beating the shit out of Zod and not caring about anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the intention.
No. But like, as we see in the earlier films and then the next one, spoiler, that we'll talk about, if they would have just had this Superman make a little bit more of an effort to try and mitigate damage, or like he saves some people during the fight with Zod in the climax, I think it would have gone a long way to easing those people's complaints. Like, just like one or two quick little cuts of him saving something, maybe he doesn't let that tanker destroy that parking garage when he just casually goes through it, when he could have caught it easily.
Where's the cat in the tree? There's got to be a cat in a tree somewhere.
And this also, I feel like it leads to superheroes not saving civilians. Like between Man of Steel and, spoilers if you haven't seen a recent Marvel movie that came out in 2025, we like never see superheroes be superheroes saving civilians, which is what they were initially kind of created to do. They're supposed to protect people, and we see them, yes, they're protecting people in the fact that they're defeating the world-ending siege engine or whatever, but they're not connecting with actual human beings. They're not saving people in the sense that you can physically see them save someone's life.
Well, I think that the culmination of this fight plays into that a little bit, where I think it is a powerful moment when he kills Zod.
I actually do like that.
I think that hits pretty hard, and it does hit in the context of Zod is like, I'll kill everybody on this planet, starting with these people right here. And Clark is doing everything in his power to stop him, and he realizes that as long as Zod's alive, he's not going to be able to stop him. Yeah. And he doesn't want to kill him, but he has to protect the people of Earth. And that's a devastating moment for him. And I think that is maybe the most interesting thing that this movie does.
I will defend that. I know that was also criticized at the time, but I actually think that was a good choice. But I think what doesn't help is that you don't see scenes before of Zod trying. Like, if you just did a few more moments of Zod trying to kill people and Superman stopping, you would get to that point at the end where he's like, I really can't stop him, right? Instead of just this one time where he's laser visioning, almost hitting it. But I do like that scene, and I do think it's important because, yes, Superman doesn't kill, but he sometimes does.
It's his absolute last resort, but he'll do it if he has to.
We haven't talked about the costume. At the time, I liked the no trunks. Watching it recently,
I think it's fine.
Watching it recently, it looked like he was just wearing a pajama onesie.
I mean, that's basically what his costume is.
I know, but like, I've come to understand that you do need that division.
I think it's still just too muted. I don't mind the trunks,
muted is,
but I just wish it was more colorful.
Yeah. I love the cape. I love that it's big and flowing. I always love a flowing cape. I want Batman to have a massive cape in the next movie.
You need visual clarity, especially in something like this that's so fast paced and all over the place. And in a lot of the fight scenes with the Kryptonians,
They're all just wearing black and he's wearing a dark blue.
Yeah, you can't even really tell them apart. And I think that is to its detriment, where maybe if he popped a little bit more, we want our Superman to pop. If he popped a little bit more, visually those scenes would play a lot better.
I agree. I do not care about this Lois. She doesn't really do any journalism and then is just with the military the rest of the time in the movie. And I don't think their connection works super well, which I think is very important for a Superman movie, for Superman and Lois to have a good connection.
Yeah, I think they do lack a connection. I feel like she does do journalism, like she investigates him, and then she makes a decision really to not reveal him.
Yeah,
but yeah, it feels strange that Clark trusts her so immediately compared to him knowing her ahead of time. I think that's a strange choice, and I get they're trying to do something a little bit different.
Yeah,
I think her line where she says, "What if I have to tinkle?" is crazy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to rank Man of Steel?
3 for me.
I'm gonna have to go below Superman Returns. Even though I think I would watch this more than I would watch Superman Returns, I don't love it as a Superman movie.
Yeah, I would also put it below. It's just it encapsulates a lot of the things that I think don't work about Superman, even though it does have some interesting ideas. They're just not executed upon super well to me. Well, we've just lost the whole Snyder fan base.
That's fine.
Man, whatever shall we do? Don't worry, we'll do Rebel Moon next week.
Yeah,
it's okay. The Snyderverse is coming back, guys.
Let it go.
All right, now the moment everyone's been waiting for: Superman 2025 by James Gunn.
Woo!
I agree with that.
They should have named this something else.
I understand that, but
I could see that.
I kind of like it with no subtitle.
No, I like a subtitle in superhero movies. I think it's more fun. I think it separates them more, and you can talk about them in more
podcast
ways,
format a little easier.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. As a podcast host, come on, I gotta say dates so people know what I'm talking about.
I understand. This has brought me back to loving superhero films. I've kind of fallen off because they've become very formulaic. Not even like that. This is not even formulaic. It's pretty close to most superhero films, but they just become really kind of nothing. And after leaving this film, I was like, that was great. I had a great time.
Yep. Immediately captured me with just the title cards of 3 centuries ago, 3 decades ago, 3 minutes ago.
I also thought that was really cool.
It was such a great way to world build.
Yeah, I was immediately locked in, and I was like, all right, James, let's see what you got. And then that first opening scene, it was really good. Everything was so good about the way to set up this character, this new Superman.
And even this, it weirdly also set up the world really well. This world is not explained that much in the movie. Like Hawkgirl's powers, Green Lantern's powers, Mr. Terrific, not explained at all. But it doesn't matter. They just exist, and you just have to deal with it. And it's kind of really fun to do.
Yeah, it really makes you sort of feel like, oh, this is a comic book universe. Like, it wouldn't be out of place if you just picked up a random issue of Superman, 327 or something.
It does a lot of stuff really, really well. I think that going off of what you said earlier, Tristan, about Superman being about hope, I think it does nail the fundamentals of Superman more than any of the other movies do, in a way that me, as somebody who doesn't really like Superman, goes, oh, maybe I kind of get it a little bit now.
Yeah.
The way that this is handling stuff. I think that the portrayal of Superman is incredible. I think that my favorite scene in the whole movie is probably the interview scene with Lois and Clark. I think that is brilliant screenwriting to sort of boil down the interesting conflict about this all-powerful being on an imperfect place.
And even being imperfect himself.
Right, exactly. And just because you can do something
doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should. And him being like, but I don't understand. I was doing a good thing.
And him being pretty adamant
defensive,
about being people were going to die.
Yeah.
And that's his stance. And, it gets down to what he believes, gets down to what she believes. It gets down to he can actually get a little frustrated and maybe even make mistakes, which is very interesting.
It really humanizes Clark.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that scene rules. I think the Pa Kent scene is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The twist on the fact that his parents sent him to rule over Earth, he has no idea about that until it's revealed, and they try and use that against him. And it really shakes up his whole world. And Pa Kent tells him, it means way more what you thought that message meant and the decisions that you make than what somebody tells you to do.
Yeah, what was it? The line of being your parents are not
parents
to tell
aren't
you
telling their children what to be.
And it's such a great thing because he has this crisis of faith of who he's supposed to be, but he realizes it doesn't matter because of who he actually is. It doesn't change who he is. And it really works really well. I don't know, maybe in the whole Rats group I haven't asked, I'm probably the biggest fan of James Gunn's superhero films. I love all of them. Suicide Squad, love Peacemaker and all that stuff. And I think he's very good at understanding weird characters and getting you to understand what about them makes them interesting. Like you got Metamorpho, the strangest dude. Amazing. Love it. You have Guy Gardner, who's an asshole. But I actually really want to watch more of him.
You want to be in the super gang.
I think for me, I think the greatest compliment I can give this movie is it feels like a live action version of an episode of Superman the Animated Series. It takes
I completely agree.
everything that you love about that show and just basically slaps it into live action, and it's an amazing ride.
I would say if I was going to be critical of it, that's maybe where my criticism would come in. I think that some of the themes and some of the messaging are incredible. I think sometimes they get bogged down in other stuff that I just think simpler would have been better. Yeah. The pocket universe stuff is like too much. But
I love him getting out of the black hole. I think it's amazing.
It's just one of those things where I'm just like, this is like a visual nothing, like nonsense.
Oh, yeah,
visuals, and I think that what's interesting about that scene, Superman leveling with Metamorpho, who's protecting his son, then realizing that he maybe has it within his power to also do good, like Superman, and Superman cares so much about this guy, this guy that he didn't know. Superman doesn't need to be in a black nothing space. You could put him in a regular jail cell and put kryptonite there and he couldn't get out. So some of that stuff detracts from the things I think that the film is stronger at, for me personally.
No, I get that.
That makes sense.
Monkeys fucking writing on Twitter.
Like
that kind of shit to me, I'm just like, it's too much.
That shit, I love. That was so comic booky. I loved it.
The biggest strength I would give this movie is I think the cast is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
David's
amazing as Superman.
David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nick Holt, I think are all perfect in their roles. I wish there was more of all of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a crazy thing to say because I
they're
think
in it so much.
No, and I think they're so good. I mean, my favorite scene in the movie is the interview scene. I'm like, why isn't there more Lois in this movie?
Yes.
Why isn't there more Lex in this movie?
The scene in the prison, going back, where Lex just kills that guy. But also like the fact that Superman
does a kiss bang bang.
The fact that Superman is genuinely upset about a guy he met once.
Right.
But like Nicholas Hoult plays that so well.
Mm-hmm.
This unrelenting hater, as the internet has decided.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that Lex's whole plan is you think is just to get land, but he's like, that's just a bonus. I only want to do it to kill you is so good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love the way that they use Lex's intelligence, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's basically fighting with his intelligence.
He studied Superman. He's trying to like brain beats brawn. I think that's all really good. Him just viscerally hating this guy just because he's different.
It on his face all the time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a great performance from Nick Holt.
It's just so good. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like one of my favorite villains in a movie recently.
He's excellent. And just the overall thing of be a human, have empathy, care about other people. Don't hate for no reason. Don't go to wars for no reason. I love all of that stuff. And I think it works really, really well in this movie with Superman as this character just being like, do good. And I love too, James Gunn has said it's an immigrant story. And then there's the exchange at the end between Lex and Clark when he says to him, I'm as human as anybody else. Othering people can be so dangerous. And I love this message of just, you can wake up every day and try and do good.
And I think that's what's really important about, establishing with this new Superman is that inspiration to do good. Like the Justice Gang, as we learned that they're called. Once you watch the movie, it's like, oh, these are characters that are, in a sense, learning from this Superman how to be actual heroes. All of these characters are going to have been inspired by the innate goodness and hope that this Superman is portrayed, and they're going to be the characters that we know they are from the comics.
I think another standout that we need to talk about is that Eddie as Mr. Terrific is so good. And that fight scene where they're all just like, oh, he's just a smart one. And then he just destroys everyone.
That might be one of the best scenes in the movie.
damn, I need to see more
Yeah,
of this guy.
He's really good in the film. A lot of the supporting characters are really stand out.
I think he's very good at every time he announces a movie, people are like, there's too many characters. He's always very good at they're there for a reason.
Yeah, I think I would probably fall into the camp of there's too many characters because I like the core three so much. I love Jimmy Olsen in this movie. I think he's incredible.
Riz,
he fucks.
yeah, he's got that Riz.
I definitely wanted more Lois and Clark interaction because we get, it feels like only 4 scenes.
We only get a
together,
handful,
like a small handful.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
And I'm like, I just want more because their chemistry, like going from the chemistry or lack thereof from Henry Cavill and Amy Adams to this new cast, this new Superman and Lois, it's night and day.
It's two incredible performances from both actors.
I will say that everything that I've seen of David Cornsweet from the press circuit, it almost seems like he is Clark Kent in Superman in real life. James Gunn somehow took Clark Kent out of a comic book and then said, your name is now David Cornsweet and you're going to be Superman in this movie.
It's kind of a comic booky name.
It is.
We haven't talked about Crypto.
Yeah.
It's a CGI character that's really good, actually.
Yeah. It is a funny take that Crypto is not well trained. No. I do love the line where he goes, she's like, you have a dog? And he goes, yeah, he's not even a very good one. Yeah.
Well, that's also just a good Superman moment because he's like, he's not a good dog, but he's out there alone and scared. Yep. He needs me.
And the fact that he crashes out, he goes into Lex and he's so pissed and it's not even his dog.
They actually gave him a bit of personality in here. They gave him the identity crisis, he keeps fucking up. He loses the first fight when the movie starts.
Great
all that kind of stuff. And I think that we keep praising him, but like David Cornsweet brings a lot of personality to the character that I think works really well in just little moments like that. Yeah. They add up and they mean something.
I also love, I mean, you can probably tell that it's going to happen, and obviously spoils for a movie that we're talking about. But the fact that Ultraman is just a cloned Superman.
I do quite like that, and actually it pays off really well for how Lex Luthor has been masterminding this whole thing.
I do think that the Ultraman is probably going to come back at some point, and I think I think it's probably going to be Bizarro. I'm going to
that would make the most sense instead of just
my flag on that right now.
The music is great. I mean, obviously it's just bringing back the theme.
Listen, I'm going to criticize this. You guys can come at me in the comments. The theme is iconic. I love it. I think they should have done something new. Obviously, the score is really good, but I wish that they had come up with an original theme.
I usually completely agree with you. I like the new themes. Like I like Batman having a new theme every time, but there's just something about that melody.
I am excited to see what else they do. I'm excited for Supergirl. I like her little cameo at the end. That it makes me excited to see what they're going to do with her film.
They have a lot of cool, unique projects in the works, and I think that's what's the most exciting thing for this universe is James Gunn has come out and said, we're going to make these movies. Everyone, it doesn't have to follow like some formulaic,
it doesn't have to build up to anything either.
Yeah. Just make a good movie.
I do really appreciate his very vocal mission code of we're not making anything until the script is good. Love that. Yeah. We gotta wait from this. Where are we ranking?
I think I'm going to put it, for me personally, and if I'm outvoted, I'm going to put it at 1.
Chris?
I've thought about this a lot since seeing it, but I think this one gets Superman better. So it's number 1.
Yeah, I'd put it number 1 easily. Yeah. Like it's not even close for me. I think it's the stuff I praised in it, I think is so good. And it makes me actually care about a character that I don't typically care about. All right. Pretty unanimous across the board, actually. Yeah. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. So the Rats on Film official ranking for Superman, starting from the bottom: Man of Steel, Superman Returns, Superman 1978, and The Big Cheese, Superman 2025. Maybe Superman should be a little punk rock.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good time. It's a good time for movies. It's been a big summer of movies. I'll leave everybody with this. Put a little positivity into the world. Good choices. And thanks for listening to Rats on Film. You could tell a friend about a show, tell an enemy about the show, get them to be a good guy, turn them around. About a bunch of little rats that talk about and rank movies. You can follow us, Rats on Film Pod, social media, and where you get your podcasts. And we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about and rank some more movies. And we'll be back at some point to talk about and rank some more DC movies.
It'll be Rebel Moon.
Bye, everyone.